Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Man, I was getting my little post fight thoughts about this fight, man. I didn't do a I did talk about the fight when it was first announced. And I did pick Zhang to win the fight. Um, but man, coming into this fight, man, it didn't look like Joyce didn't make any type of adjustments, and the adjustments he made, I guess gaining 25 pounds and then going in there and just trying to lean over to the right a little bit and try to have his right hand protect his face and go more defensive. It looked like those are the adjustments that he thought was going to work in his fight. But those little baby adjustments that he tried to do, man, as soon as I was watching the first round and I see him try to lean over and be a little bit more defensive, that's not Joyce. That's not how he fights. That's not the Joyce that wins his fights. And I knew he was not going to win the fight trying to, lean off on the back foot a little bit and hold the single glove up next to his face to try to protect the left hand from Zhang. And Zhang is smart enough where he's the type of guy where if he's throwing a straight left hand and for whatever reason, if you're deflecting it or you really can't reach it, then he's just going to loop it. I mean, you would think that Joyce would, kind of see this, man, but I just think that he thought that that'd be enough. Like, hey, man, if I just lean over to the right a little bit and gain 25 pounds, I'm going to answer all the questions. And once that first round went by, man, and I heard, Tessitore and Bradley was talking about, yeah, he's making adjustments. I'm like, dude, this is nothing. First of all, it's just posturing and it's just a fill out round. And if I can see it, I'm sure Zhang can see it. Like he's about to eat Joyce alive, man. Joyce is not a defensive fighter like that. And the 25 pounds didn't help him. I know people say, look how tall he is. Look at his frame. He can carry it. He can carry it, but doesn't mean it is there's going to be useful and optimize his chance of winning. You know what I'm saying? He could probably carry another 10 more pounds and not look crazy because he's 6'6". But it's not going to optimize your chance of winning when you're trying to get out of the way of these damn left hands, right? And what was so funny about this, what knocked him out, what got him out of there, was a right hand. Just levels above Joyce, man. When styles make fights, he's just a smarter fighter, and he's big as hell. That's the thing that Joyce, even his fight with Dubois, he still had the slight, size advantage over some guys because Dubois was landing some good shots on him, man. But Zhang just punches harder, and he's a bigger guy and he punches harder, But the shot that got Joyce out of there, well, first let me go to this. Joyce turned into the normal Joyce in round 3. I want to say probably the end of round 2, but round 3 is when the Joyce that we all know fought. He didn't try to do the whole I'm gonna lean back, and give you the shoulder, lean back and give you my left shoulder, try to lean back and get out the way and counter. That type of thing. First of all, he's not like when you counter, man, you gotta have like quick twitch. You know what I'm saying? Because you either parry a shot and you come back, or you slip out the way and come back with a shot. He doesn't have that, man. He already punches slow and methodical. So just in there with somebody that just thinks faster than you. It's not like Zhili Zhang is this fast fighter. He just thinks quicker and he can let his counters go quicker. He just quicker twitch with his punches, man. And he threw the left hand. It kind of was towards the body. Then he came back with a right hook that Joyce didn't see. And Joyce is always right there to get hit. So when he turned back into the normal Joyce, he was even easier to hit. And that little thing he was doing with, putting his shoulder out there and trying to link, Zhang was picking up on that too. He started to land left hands. And that to me is what made Joyce kind of come out of that stance and then just revert back to the Joyce that we all know that comes. He's not leaning. He's just coming straight in with his guards up. And you punch right through his guards. He just pieced him up, man. That was easy work. That was easy work, man. What gives Zhang problems is you gotta have like not so much just a fast pace, and we know Joyce likes to not so much have a fast pace, but a relentless pace where he just keeps coming and coming and coming. It's like there's nothing you can do to get him off you, right? Joseph Parker got faster hands, but Joyce just the bigger guy. That jab was giving Joe a lot of problems. Started snapping his head back and busting him up before Joe can even get any type of momentum going. So, rather than that, what we seen Joyce hurt to the body against Jennings in their fight, little body shot hurt him. But rather than that, man, he has a size advantage on guys in his jab. But look, what really let me know that this fight was going to be a easy work, and I was saying this in a prior video, that if Joyce comes out and his jab starts to get parried right away, it's going to be a wrap. And as soon as the fight started, is not even talking about his little defense thing he was doing, he was leaning back. But as soon as I see him try to throw a jab, and Zhang just kind of batted it down with his lead hand. Once I saw that going on, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Joyce needs his jab. He needs that jab, man. He needs to use that jab as a power punch, because when he's at distance, he doesn't have fast hands, so he needs something, and he's not going to lead with a straight right hand, so he needs that jab pumping out there to bust you up and use it as a power punch. But once I saw Zhang batting it down, parrying it, batting it down, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. He can't get his jab going. It's a wrap. He is naked out there without his jab. But that was easy work, man. Let me see what you guys are talking about. God of War says, what a fight. Man, Popey the God says, what up, bro? Zhang set that KO up perfectly. He will be an interesting fight for the top guys. Yeah, man, because he's a heavy puncher. He can take a punch, and he knows how to pick his spots. But he's not one of them guys that's going to pick his spots and then come pecking away with. No, that dude can crack, man. And Joyce ain't. Look, I know he's not the fastest guy, but he ain't some guy that's been knocked out a multitude of times. Zhang was able to do it, but Zhang is a heavy puncher, and he's a former Olympian. Maybe what, he won silver or got the silver. I think he's been in 2 Olympics, but he knows the way around the ring. He is 40, but the thing is, they say power's the last thing to go. We know heavyweights is different. It's one thing being 40 at heavyweight than it is being 40 at lightweight, right, or welterweight or something like that. So at heavyweight, you can fight until your 40s, until your late 30s, and still have some success. You know what I mean? Because not like guys are blazing with speed out there like that. You can still pick your spots, and he hasn't suffered a lot of damage in this fight. I know the fight with was it Jerry Forrest that he fought? I think that's probably the most competitive. Well, the fight with Hergovic too, but Forrest was able to get him into a firefight, and Forrest was able to slip punches, come back and throw, 3 or 4 awkward punches from awkward angles, and then hold and grab, and then go to his body, and then slip another shot. And he's just awkward and slippery for Zhang in that fight. You know what I mean? And I think they were saying that Zhang has some complications health-wise, too, in that fight with Forrest, man. But this was easy work. Easy work. Eric Swade, he says, I forgot the fight was today. Yeah, man, it was one of those fights that come on early here in the States. Supreme Commander says the KO setup, I don't think one would have tanked that. Says, what a Mr. Boxing. Zhang was unbelievable. All credit to Big Bang. The juggernaut has been exposed. Zhang deserves a title shot. Fury or Usyk. Hey, man, I'm telling you this, man. Usyk gonna have his hands full. Shit, Tyson Fury as well. Especially, see, the thing with Tyson Fury is he at least gonna be taller than Zhang, but I don't think Zhang is solid, man. He might be a couple inches shorter than Fury, but he is solid with his weight, the way he carries it. He is a heavy-handed dude, and he has a little bit more crafty ways of setting things up than, in my opinion, than like a Wilder, right? I think Zhang's more crafty with the way he's gonna set up that left hand, but that left hand is powerful, man. But he's a crafty fighter, and he's gonna definitely get Tyson Fury's attention if they were to fight. And Usyk, hey, he's not the biggest heavyweight. We know he gets by on combination punching and things of that nature, and moving his head offline and throwing in flurries and getting out when he needs to. But this is a lot different guy. This is somebody's gonna be gun shy like Anthony Joshua was in spurts of their fight. I mean, Joshua was aggressive, especially in that 9th round, I think, of the second fight. I think it was the 9th round of the second fight when he was going to Usyk's body and throwing punches. But one thing about Zhang is he can possibly be outworked by guys that work a little bit busier, or guys a little bit busier than him. But you're going to definitely have to stay on alert, man, defensively with him, because that dude has heavy hands, and he just showed he has power in both hands, not just the left, the right as well. Because again, he set it up with Joyce, man. He just threw the left hand out there. Looked like he was going to the body with the left, or maybe his left hand got slightly pushed down when Joyce was throwing. Only thing boom, right hook came. Didn't even see it coming. That dude is heavy. He got heavy hands, man. Both of them, not just the left hand. Fury greedy, Fury greedy belly says I give Zhang more change the Joshua Dubois. Wallace 0071, what's up, man? He says long time no see. Yeah, man, what's good, man? I remember you from back in the day. Fury greedy belly, okay. Zhang was also jabbing and throwing straight lefts to the body, which set it up too. Very underrated boxing IQ. Yeah, man, just very subtle. He's a subtle guy, man. Very subtle. Yeah, you're right. He did set that up. He did set that up. Especially when he seen Joyce come out of that little posture he was in the first round that I knew wasn't gonna work, man. When I saw him posturing like that, I'm like, dude, knock it off. That shit's not gonna work. It's not you. You don't fight like that. You don't even know how to be successful out of that type of style. I've never, unless I'm tripping, I don't remember seeing Joyce do that. I ain't talking about for 5 or 10 seconds in a fight, but I'm talking about a whole round where he's trying to be defensive, leaning back, giving you the left shoulder, trying to give you the Mayweather look. Like, no, man. Once I saw that, man, I just started cracking up to myself like, that's not gonna work, dog. That's not gonna work. You're trying to be a counter puncher, like leaning back doing it. Like, I knew that wasn't gonna work. And then Zhang caught onto it, and then Zhang started to loop his left hand. Instead of throwing it straight, he started looping it. And then once I saw Joyce getting his jab batted down and parried, I really knew it was a wrap then, because Joyce, like I said, he needs his jab, man, to get his offense going. Eric Sway, what's good, man? He says, what do you think next is for Zhang? Well, hopefully he gets his title shot, man. He went in there and did what he had to do twice against Joyce. So next thing should be a title shot. Now, if he doesn't get it and it's prolonged, and we know that us as fans, man, we want to see Undisputed. We know Tyson Fury has this, boxing match coming up with Ngannou. I want to see Undisputed, man. Nothing against Zhang. He did his thing, but I want to see Undisputed. Been wanting to see it, for what, man? About, what we going on? 20... How many years it's been? 20 years, 22 years since that Holyfield and, those two fights with Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. We haven't had an Undisputed champion since then, man. Like, this is getting out of hand. What's it been, 23 years, something like that? So, I would really like to see Undisputed, but if that doesn't happen, I would love to see Zhang get a title shot against Usyk. And you could probably argue, hey, Herkovich should get his title shot first. We can argue it, man, but I would love to see him in a title fight. All right, if that doesn't happen, I hope he wouldn't get in. I hope he would not get in there against a no-name journeyman. But you never know what these guys will do, man, especially when they're staying busy. But I want to see him get a title shot. And if that doesn't come to fruition, then any of the top guys that are top rate. I mean, he's the interim champion, right? So anybody in the WBO in that top 10 rankings, I would love to see him fight as well. 619 Cali Factor was good, bro. He says Zhang vs. Wilder is a great fight. Yes, it is. That's a really good fight because both of them have the one-hitter quitter. But one thing that Zhang just showed, that he has one quitter hitter with the right hand as well. I know Deontay Wilder in the first Luis Ortiz fight, when Ortiz actually, when Wilder dropped him that very last time, it was an uppercut, a right uppercut from Wilder. But I'm not going to say that, yeah, Wilder be knocking dudes out with right uppercuts. That was more after, Ortiz was hurt and damn near about to go down anyways, and Wilder just hit him with that extra little right uppercut. But I think it was a right uppercut. Was it right? It was an uppercut. But I would love to see them fight, man. I think that'd be a really good fight. And it might come down to who can just land first. But I don't know, man. I think Zhang's a little bit more savvy or a little bit more craftier than Deontay Wilder. But Wilder definitely has a one-hitter quitter, and he does have a jab when he's snapping it out there. But Zhang is crafty, man. He's been around. He's crafty. Two-time Olympian, silver medalist. Like, the dude's crafty, man. And you got to put in the thing with the way Wilder fights. Wilder doesn't come out like a, prime Joe Frazier, right? He's not going to come out throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations, relentless to the body in your chest. He doesn't fight like that. Wilder kind of give you some space, give you some room, but Zhang is the wrong. Like, this isn't Spilka. Right? This isn't Spilka you're giving space and room to. This is a whole different beast, man. A dude that can crack. You know what I'm saying? This isn't Gerald Washington. Like, this is This is a different guy you're in there with, man. So that'll be an interesting fight. Mala, what's good, man? Or Steven4722, what's good? He says, yep, Zhang Wilder's great fight. Peter Sauer says Zhang looked good. It was like Joyce didn't make any adjustments from the first fight. That straight left was hitting him every time. I hope Zhang get a big fight next. Look, Peter, and the adjustments that he did make, because okay, he did make some adjustments. They just didn't work. His adjustment was put on 25 pounds, whether he thought that would cushion the blows or maybe thought it'd make him stronger, whatever the case, right? And then he tried to come out and be defensive and lean back and give you his left shoulder and try to counter. Those were his adjustments. So no, he did make adjustments. They're just silly adjustments. He was better off coming out just being just the regular Joe Joyce from the start. Maybe he got knocked out earlier, but it would have been way better than what he tried to do in the first round, in my opinion. Let me see. Wallace 0071 says, I was a big fan of Joe Joyce and really upset he got smashed again. It was a perfectly timed hook that would drop almost anyone right now. Yeah, man, that shit was boom, like out of nowhere. Didn't even see it coming. That's the thing. Oh, Tavares Dog, what's good, bro? I ain't seen you in a hot minute. He says this fight was easy money. I feel like Zhang should still be undefeated. Had him beating Herkovic. Yeah, man. I thought he should have edged it over Herkovic as well. Like I said, man, his toughest fight to me was the Forrest fight. And, after the fight, they were saying, he had some health complications. But Forrest fights with more of a higher motor, right? He might not be one of the best fighters in the world, but he's awkward. He's slippery. He'll throw, he's very slippery. He's a very slippery guy, and he's awkward, man. He'll throw combinations from weird ass angles and duck his head down, and so he would push Zhang in his motor, and that's the one knock on Zhang that people say is his stamina going late in fights, right? You got to test his stamina, but if you, like I said with the Wilder situation, Wilder kind of fights at a I could say a standstill pace, but kind of like a slower pace. He likes to pick and choose. Well, so does Zhang, and that might just come down to who can just bait who into something and just land in whether Wilder right hand or Zhang left hand and shit. Looks like a Zhang right hook as well. Grimace 08 was good, man. Yes, he did definitely get bodied. That was easy work, man. XXA0XX says Zhang destroys Fury in my opinion, as Zhang will batter Fury with body shots, uppercuts, and hook combination when Fury does his usual tactics by looking to cling on for a couple of rounds. And that's one thing he wouldn't like with Ngannou, he might be able to get away with that because Ngannou might not know how to like box and clinch all that good and know how to fight inside the clinch, where Zhang, he is a big dude. He might just throw Fury up off of him. One thing about Fury, though, is he has quick-ass hands, and he'll have I believe he has a reach on Zhang by a couple inches. But Fury knows how to put punches together. But one thing about Fury that we know, if you start to outbox him from the outside, or he's getting lined up and getting clipped with certain shots from the outside, what is Fury's go-to move? He'll start to grab, clinch, and lean on you and put you in headlocks and punch you in the headlock position. He just gets grimy. He did it with Wilder. He did it with Cunningham. He did it with Wallen. As soon as you start to, make it not comfortable for him on the outside, or he doesn't really like how that's playing out, then he wants to maul and grab and beat you up that way. But I don't think he'll enjoy that type of situation with Zhang. I just don't think he'll have that advantage with Zhang. As far as trying to put him in a headlock and use his weight. That wouldn't work. So I think Zhang outweighs Fury, and he's a big guy. He's not like he's some 6'2", 6'1" heavyweight. The dude's like 6'6", long ass arms, and he can fight. And he's a southpaw. And we seen when Fury was in there with Otto Wallen. Now Wallen moves on his feet a little better than Zhang, but he doesn't have the power, and he isn't much of like the presence that Zhang is in there physically. Rich Rose, what's good, bro? He says, where does Zhang fall in line for a title shot? Who gets the shot first? I believe the I'm not sure. Don't even get me lying to you, man. But I know Herkovic is the IBF. Um, but he has this interim title, man, so he should be one of the first ones to get a title shot from Usyk. To be honest with you, well, I would think. Bruce Gas, what's good, man? Hey, Bruce, I didn't leave a comment, but I was listening to you and your buddy, man. You guys did the live yesterday on the bare knuckle thing. You had like 400 people up in there last night, but I watched that, man. Watched the bare knuckle fighters. Was fiending for some fights to watch, man. And you know us as fight fans, when like the big fights aren't on yet, or you're waiting for the Saturday night or the Saturday fights to come on. Shit, I'll watch two neighbors across the street fight. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch two raccoons fight, man. I just love watching fights. So I checked it out, man. What was the main event? The black dude, the dude that has like 9 straight wins. I watched you guys call that one live. I forgot the dude's name. Lorenzo Hunt, I think his name is. So yeah, man, I was on there watching it with y'all, man. Shout out to Bruce Gas. Fabisi says I could see him beating Usyk just because close stance takes away a lot of Usyk's weapons. And okay, you also said, but also Zhang's stamina is terrible and Usyk forces the pace. There you go. That's what I'm saying. Pace. But one thing we starting to see with Usyk, man, is them body shots. Now, hey, I'm not. That's a hope. We'll be here, forever going over this. But when you go to his body, he doesn't like it. All right. Now Zhang isn't this crazy body puncher like that, but I think he's smart enough to try to implement those shots in there. And Usyk, now he's not Pernell Whitaker now, man. He gets his head offline. He uses his feet sometimes, but he's getting marked up in them AJ fights, bro. He was getting caught with some shots against Dubois. We seen what Chisora was able to do with his pressure. So he's not this flawless defensive guy that just doesn't get hit and you just don't hit Usyk. Now he's quicker than these big guys, but he gets touched. He definitely gets touched. And Zhang's temperament will be way different than Anthony Joshua's, right? He won't be timid or unsure of himself in spurts. Nah, I don't see Zhang being timid fighting Usyk. But I do see Usyk winning some rounds. But man, once Zhang start landing some leather, we don't know how Usyk's gonna hold up. You can't really measure that, man. Or at least I don't try to. You never know when these dudes start getting hit with punches. You never know what's gonna happen or how they're gonna react. Bruce Gas says nobody ever does Joyce like that. Yeah, but one thing I will say, Bruce, is everybody does land punches on his ass. It's just that Joyce usually can take them. And he just ran into one. That's what I always saying when I was watching Joyce, man. And people were putting him top 5 after the Parker win. And, I get it. He's, steamrolling guys, going in there looking like Michael Myers and Jason, the Jason movie. You can never get away from him. He's going to keep hunting you down, even if you hit him with a damn 2x4 or stab him or shoot him. But eventually, you want to get in with somebody who power, you're just going to react different to. And Zhang has stunning, crazy power. He's not Brian Jennings. He wasn't Bermain Stavern. And those dudes can pop a little bit, but Zhang's a different type of puncher. And Joyce, that whole, I'm going to just eat punches and bite down on my mouthpiece and just fight you harder. That it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. Sometimes you got to move your head. And I know people are saying, oh, Joyce, the news that was coming out, Joyce cranium is 3 times stronger. It was some shit. Man, I was like, whatever, dude. Another grown man hits you the right way, a power you can't take, you're going to get affected by it, period. They were saying Joyce's cranium is 3 times thicker than the normal skull or some shit they were saying, man. I was like, dude, whatever, man. You get the right person in there to crack your ass across that jawbone, boy, it's going to be a whole different story. Let me see here. Rui Sterat, I probably pronounced that wrong. He says, we got to stop talking about Fury as if he's a champion. He's not. Forget the WBC. They're messing with us all. Man, Fury, the man, to be so, good as he is as a fighter, man, he's just disappointing, man. He's just disappointing. And look, the trilogy with Wilder was great. The win over Vladimir was a historic win, ending Vladimir's run, but just... Look, man, I know he's chasing the bag or whatever, chasing the money with the Ngannou fight, but 1 minute he's going to retire, next minute he's going to fight Ngannou, the next minute he wants Undisputed, the next minute, the hell with Undisputed, I'm lenient, the next minute I'm going to retire, the next minute I want to fight Joshua. Man, this dude's all over the place, man. I've been disappointed with the way Fury's been moving outside of the ring with these who he want, who he's trying to choose to fight. DT Rake Morgan, I appreciate that, bro. He says for the $5 holla super chat. He says Zhang versus Martin Bakole. Woo, it's two heavy-handed dudes up in there, man. That'd be a good one. But one thing about Bakole, he comes to fight, and he will up the pace. Now, up in the pace will leave you open to get hit, but Bakole's another one that can crack. All right, the one fight that Bakole did lose was against Hunter. Hunter's kind of like Forrest almost, man, where they're just slippery and awkward, and they'll up the pace from like a weird ass angle where it's not even textbook. It's just like weird and just super awkward, right? So, but yeah, that'd be a firefight because Bakole gonna come and turn it up. That'd be a firefight, man. I wouldn't count Bakole out. People was counting him out when he fought what's the guy, man? Tony Yoka. You know what I mean? He went there and beat him down. I would love to see a Bakole versus Hunter rematch, to be honest with you. That's what I really like to see. I'll take a few more, y'all, and I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get off here, but let me see, man. See what you guys are talking about. AS95I says the style of Zhang doesn't seem to age that bad. Also seems to be pissed off at Fury. Yeah, I see him in the ring. Said, "Who wants to see me beat up Fury, or whatever, or shut Fury up?" But yeah, you're right. When you're methodical like that, you can take your time, pick your spots. You're not being rushed. Man, Zhang can fight till he about 55 years old. You know what I'm saying? See, the thing, like when Big George was fighting at that advanced age, Big George was trying to pick his spots, but he had dudes in there that was throwing combos on his ass, man. Tommy Morrison. There were some guys in there not letting up on Big George. Evander Holyfield, that was like, you got to throw combinations on these guys, but you got to be willing to take a punch. Because when he comes out of that, when you get off your shots and then he comes to fire back, if you get clipped, you got to be able to take that punch, man. Or at least ride with the punch, not get hit flush with it. But yeah, if guys aren't going to up the pace on him and hurt him a little bit, at least Herkovic was able to have some moments in that fight because he can crack too. You know what I'm saying? So to get his respect. But yeah, his style is going to age well, man, because he likes to pick his spots. He's not coming out there throwing 7-5, punch combinations. He isn't a front runner, meaning he doesn't come out and win the first 5-6 rounds and then gasses at the end. He kind of just fights at one speed, one pace, has respectable power, good chin, good pedigree, and he can set you up. So yeah, man, he even at his advanced age, he's still gonna be a problem for guys. Let me see. Steven4722 says, I had both AJ Usyk fights even at the end of the 8th round. It was the last 4 rounds Usyk pulled away. Yeah, just putting that pressure and throwing them combinations and bunches on AJ. And then AJ thinking about, I don't want to get knocked out. Because, we all know that AJ's in there thinking about not getting knocked out, man. Uncle Junior was good. He says, all these British heavyweights get exposed eventually. Shit, man, everybody takes a L. I mean, you know what I mean? Eventually, for the most part. But shit, man, they ain't exposed Tyson Fury yet. Shit, Tyson Fury's still walking around with an undefeated record, man. And I guess, and I know you're talking about guys like AJ and Dubois, now Joyce, I get it. You know what I mean? But you got some up-and-coming guys, Adelaide and Fabio Wardley and, guys like that. I think they supposed to be fighting Adelaide and Wardley. Got into a shoving match, and Wardley got knocked down, punched at the presser and all that, but a fight that I'm really looking forward to, you guys, is that Wallin and Gassiev. I was watching just trying to watch some guys, what's their thoughts on that fight, man. A lot of people picking Gassiev, man. They think Gassiev is going to come in there and throw a hard right hand or a hard hook, and Wallin's going to fall over. Like, Wallin's not going to be intimidated of Gassiev, man. And the people are saying, Wallin's not Usyk. He's not going to be able to implement the same game plan. Well, he's bigger than Usyk. He has respectable power. He fought a very competitive fight with Tyson Fury. You can argue they should have stopped it after that cut, but it wasn't. But he's fought a competitive fight with Fury. He handled Dominic Brazil. Now, Dominic Brazil isn't even the Brazil he was in 2017, but he's a high-pressure guy. And if you're lacking, Brazil does throw punches, and he will try to get you up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Almost damn near like Joe Joyce, damn near the way he fights. But Wallen wasn't intimidated or pressured by any of that shit, and he got him up out of there. But Wallen, I think Wallen's going to beat Gassiev, you guys. I think he has a respectable left hand. He has good enough footwork, enough movement, and we know Gassiev is the type of guy where he'll let you get off, he'll hold up the high guard, let you run your punches off, and then he'll step to you with hard shots. In his last fight against Mike Balagan, that shit looked not right, man. Because Balagan took that count and then jumped right up and was fine. Like, that shit didn't look right. But I respect Gassiev, though, man. That dude can crack. I've heard Chris Arreola say that, Gassiev was the hardest puncher he's ever sparred against in sparring. I heard Chris Arreola say that before. But that's going to be a good one, though, man. Kind of off topic, but I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a good one. Oh, man, appreciate it again, bro. Another $5 holla super chat from DT Rec Morgan. I appreciate it, bro. He says Wilder Zhang will be crazy. Yes, it will be. And that's a 50-50. To me, that's a 50-50 pick 'em. It's almost who lands first or who can take the other guy's shot. But, man, one thing with Wilder is he wants to catch you long, right? Whereas Zhang, that right hook shows you he can catch you short, right? Now, has Wilder probably hurt somebody, but I'm talking about for the most part, it's long right hands, right? It's long right hands. I know Wilder didn't land a fully long right hand against, I'm trying to think of an example, Helenius, right? That wasn't a full extended one, but for the most part, it's a long right hand. Where Zhang can kind of chip you with like a short left hand, or he can loop the left hand, and now he showed this right hand that he has with Joyce and got him the hell up out of there. I can see him knocking out Deontay Wilder, man. And then Wilder's right hand, I can see him knocking out Zhang. But one thing about Wilder that we didn't get to see yet is his punch resistance after those wars with Fury. That Helenius didn't show us nothing. The only thing that showed us is Wilder can still knock you the hell out with his right hand. But it didn't show when he gets cracked with a good shot, how's his legs going to respond? If he gets cracked with a few good shots, how's his legs going to respond? We didn't get to see that. And that's what I wanted to see as a fan. But the right hand, I know that ain't going nowhere. Wilder going to have that right hand until he's 80 years old, man. Fabisi says Usyk isn't some back foot fighter anyway. He's more of a jumbo Lomachenko as far as Fury. It sucks because on ability he seems an all-time great, but the man is just weird. I agree, bro. He is weird. He just flip-flops all over the place, man. You really don't know what to believe or if you should take him serious. Fury's just all over, man. He's all over. He's very inconsistent. He's just all over the place. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me after this fight against Ngannou if Fury, let's say Fury goes in, let's play the if game. Let's say Fury goes in there and ends it in 2 rounds, knocks Ngannou out cold. I can see Fury saying he retires. And then he'll play some waiting game with the WBC for about 3 weeks. And then come back and announce a fight. And then pull back out. Like, he's all over the place, man. I really don't know I don't really take Fury serious until like the night of the fight. I don't know what to expect from the guy. He's very unpredictable, which is a good and bad thing, right? Because he was unpredictable in the second Wilder fight when he said, I'm going to step to Wilder and take his right hand away. And I'm like, man, get that. No way in the world you're going to step to Wilder, like step to him and fight at close quarters to take his right hand away. And he did exactly what he said. But then he'll also go on benders and get out of shape and come in like a fat slob and do exactly what he said. He was going to be a fat slob and not train hard. So you never really know with that guy, man. I'm going to take a few more guys. I'm going to get up out of here. Big Boys Boxing. What's good? What's good, man? He says the bookies have Gassiev as the favorite. Damn, they do? How? How, man? Are they just going off because he was a cruiserweight champion? Is that it? Like, I don't see how he wins that fight, man. Because one thing for sure, he ain't going to pull a Mike Balagan. He's not going to get hit and then just stay down for the 10 count and jump back up and just be fine with, like, bro, he's going to beat Gassiev. But I guess we'll see, though. But I see him beating Gassiev. I don't see how the bookies have him the favorite, man. XXAOXX says Wallen beats him by stoppage, in my opinion. Thank you for jumping on and giving us a live stream, Mr. Boxing. Keep up the great work. Take care. Stay safe. Have a great day, night, evening. Y'all, peace out. I appreciate that, man. Fabrice says Wallen should beat Gassiev. Really, the guy hits like a truck. He does, but he's not the most athletic. He's not. And Wallen should easily be able to control the high guard with his lead left and box his way to. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Even if he doesn't get a knockout, just control him with the jab. When Gassiev tries to, come out of his high guard, land a left hand, step over to the side, tie him up when he needs to. Look, man, he's not going to be intimidated by any type of physicality from Gassiev. It's pretty much keep him at bay and don't get clipped. That's it. It's not like Gassiev's this guy that likes to wear you down to the body. Not that I can remember. He wants to just come out the high guard and go head hunting. That's pretty much it. But hey, man, I done ran my mouth long enough. Anybody got in here didn't really hear me go over the Joyce versus Zhang fight, please feel free to catch it on the replay, man. Like the first 10 minutes, I'll pretty much give you what I thought about the fight. But I appreciate y'all showing up, man. I appreciate the super chats. Y'all be good, man. I'm gone.